Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of the financial world one filing at a time. So get ready, because today we are diving into something that smells a little like a corporate takeover. Today we are dissecting a current report from Norfolk Southern Corporation. This isn't just any report, it is a look at a serious business shakeup, potentially involving a massive merger. We'll be cutting through the jargon to tell you what is really going on with this railroad giant. If you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you are subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where we dive even deeper into these topics and more. Alright, so what we have here is what is called a Form 8K filing. Think of this as a public announcement service for big important things that happen with a company that aren't part of their regular financial checkups, like quarterly or annual reports. This particular 8K is all about a special meeting of Norfolk Southern shareholders that took place on the 14th of November 2025. The main reason for this meeting was to vote on a proposed merger. The earliest event reported here is the 14th of November 2025. That is the date shareholders gathered. Fold Virginia 1 to 8,339.52 to 1,188,014 per Fold Norfolk. Southern is incorporated in Virginia, and they have a standard commission file number and an IRS employer identification number. Nothing too groundbreaking there, but it confirms we are talking about the real deal. Their main stock, the Norfolk Southern Corporation common stock, trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol NSC. This means a lot of people are watching what happens with this company, and this merger news is a big deal for investors. Now let's get to the juicy part. The core of this filing is about what happened at that shareholder meeting. The big event was a vote on a proposed merger between Norfolk Southern and Union Pacific Corporation. This wasn't just a small deal. It was structured as two mergers involving subsidiaries of Union Pacific. The details of this proposed deal were laid out in a previous filing, but here we see how the shareholders reacted. The first proposal up for a vote was the merger agreement proposal. Basically, shareholders were asked if they approved the plan to merge Norfolk Southern with Union Pacific and to approve all the transactions that come with it. This is the big one, folks. This is where the future of Norfolk Southern as an independent company was decided by its owners, and the results are in shareholders overwhelmingly approved the merger agreement. We saw over 162 million votes in favour, versus just over 2.3 million against. That is a massive win for the deal. It shows a strong consensus among the shareholders that this merger is a good idea. This kind of approval rate makes it much more likely that the deal will go through, provided other conditions are met, of course. The second proposal was about something called merger-related compensation. This is where shareholders voted, in an advisory role, on the pay packages that executives at Norfolk Southern might receive as a result of this merger. It is a bit like saying, we're okay with the deal. And we're also okay with how the top brass will be compensated if it all goes through. It is important to note that this vote is advisory. That means it's not legally binding in the same way the actual merger approval is, but it is still a significant signal of shareholder sentiment. Here too, the shareholders largely approved the compensation. Over 152 million votes for, compared to about 11 million against. While this is still a strong approval, it is worth noting that more shareholders voted against this compensation package than against the merger itself. This could indicate some level of concern or scrutiny about executive pay, even as they supported the merger. It's a common theme in these large deals. Interestingly, they did not need to vote on a proposal to adjourn the meeting. This means they had enough support for the merger from the get-go, and no extra time was needed to convince hesitant shareholders. This further emphasizes the strong backing for the merger. Now, even with this strong shareholder vote, it is not a done deal yet. The filing clearly states that the completion of the mergers is still dependent on satisfying other conditions. The biggest hurdle here, and it is a significant one for railroads, is getting regulatory approvals. Government agencies will scrutinize this merger to ensure it does not harm competition or the public interest. This is often the most challenging part of large mergers in the transportation sector. Moving on, the report also mentions that on the same day, the 14th of November 2025, Norfolk Southern issued a press release. This is pretty standard. Companies like to put out their own version of the news, highlighting the positive outcomes and thanking their shareholders. This press release is formally attached as an exhibit, Exhibit 99.1. It essentially serves to publicly broadcast the results of the shareholder meeting. If you want to read their official statement on the shareholder vote, that is where you would look. And finally, the report lists its exhibits, which are the supporting documents. We've already touched on the press release, Exhibit 99.1. Tree is also Exhibit 104, which is the cover page in a special digital format for data analysis applications. Nothing particularly exciting for us here, but necessary for regulatory compliance. So, What is the big story here? Norfolk Southern shareholders have given a green light to a massive merger with Union Pacific. This is a huge move that could reshape the North American railroad landscape. The overwhelmingly positive vote on the merger agreement signals strong confidence from those who own the company. However, the path to completion still requires navigating significant regulatory hurdles. The advisory vote on executive compensation showed a slightly more divided opinion, but not enough to derail the main event. Looking at this through a Warren Buffett lens, we see a company seeking to consolidate its position likely through scale and operational efficiencies that a merger can bring. The high vote for the merger agreement suggests the board and management made a compelling case about the strategic benefits, perhaps improved network reach, cost savings, and increased market share. The slight dip in the approval for the compensation proposal is a reminder that even in success, shareholders are watchful of how executives benefit. The key takeaway is this: the shareholders have spoken, and they like the idea of Norfolk Southern becoming part of a larger entity with Union Pacific. The future now hinges on government regulators. If they approve, we'll see one of the biggest railroad mergers in recent history. If not, it would be a significant setback for the deal and for both companies' strategic plans. The risk here is clear: regulatory blockage. The opportunity, if approved, is immense. A potentially dominant player in North American rail. It's a calculated gamble with very high stakes. Alright, that is our breakdown of Norfolk Southern's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Do you think the merger will go through? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.